Alright, I am going to the movies. Why am I going to the movies? Great question. Just for a little context, I am a big movie fan, film student. Before this pandemic, I was at the movies probably on average once a week. Last time I was at the movies was second week in March when all this stuff happened. Saw Onward, and that was the last time I was there. And I've definitely missed it. I've missed the theater going experience. But obviously, the movies are the last place you should be if you're trying to avoid a potentially deadly virus such as COVID-19. If you follow the science, which I'm trying to, we know that it spreads through aerosolized particles that come out of your mouth and are airborne and float through the air and land on somebody else, and they breathe that in, or it lands in their mouth and nose, and that's how they get it. And this is spread, obviously, the best in indoor spaces with not a lot of ventilation. So why am I going to the movies when for 6 months I've done everything I can to avoid getting this virus, i.e. being in indoor spaces, trying to wear a mask as much as possible, only going out when needed, socially distancing with friends outside when I can, but for the most part, just not going out. So why am I doing this now? So the movie I'm seeing is TENET. And being a big film fan, obviously I'm looking forward to another Christopher Nolan movie. And the Warner Brothers decided to have this be their exclusive rollout way, that they're not going to have it come out on VOD or premium VOD or whatever they're calling it. Partially in theaters, partially not, like the latest Bill and Ted movie just did. They want to have it fully in theaters, and I respect the secrecy of wanting to do it, a worldwide release, day and date, to protect the secrets of the film. I respect Nolan's want to keep the theater going experience alive, and I want to see this movie. So how do I grapple with this cognitive dissonance of, I know the movie theater is one of the least safest places to be, but I am yearning for the theatrical experience. This is the longest I haven't been to the movies probably in my entire life, and I want to see a movie in the theater. I want to feel that joy again of seeing a great movie in a theater with a room full of people. And honestly, I really thought that I was just going to go the entire time, like the entire pandemic, however long it took, a year or 2 years, without going to the movies. And what I think we've all come to discover during this time is that not only do we need to protect ourselves and other people from this virus, but we also need to protect our mental health. And I know that there are other ways to do this, but when you lock yourself in a house, or it could be a 100 square foot apartment, or it could be a house, whatever it is. After a while, once you're in there for too long, you start to go a little crazy, and you feel like you're caged in, and you need to go out and experience the world, because you can't just put your life on hold for potentially 2 years, 18 months, whatever this thing's going to end up being. So you have to just find safe enough ways to fulfill both the physical, and mental health constraints that were put in during these times. So what did I do to, at least have some sense of safety during all of this? I did about 2 weeks worth of research. So today is Labor Day, and I'm driving right now an hour to see this movie. There's a Regal theater that's closer to me, but I was reading the safety guidelines of Regal, and I was not as happy with them as I was with AMC, where apparently in some of their theaters they've changed their air filtration systems to comply with better air circulation inside the theater. So that was a big plus for me. So the nearest AMC to me was about an hour away, and so that was where I decided to go. So it's also Labor Day, and it's a very nice day out today. I know a lot of the country is dealing with a big heat wave, but where I am, it's a spectacular day. There's not a cloud in the sky, and it's a very comfortable temperature outside. So being as this is the last day of summer for a lot of people, even though we've all hopefully been inside, I think the movie theater is the last place a lot of people would want to be today. And I was partially right as I'm looking at the Fandango and I see the amount of seats that are open, and there was very few seats sold in this theater. Obviously the seats are all blocking off for social distancing, and there was, I think, six other tickets bought when I bought my ticket, and I looked this morning, and now there's about 15 in about a 300-seat theater. So that I'm more comfortable with. The other thing is that I'm seeing it in the first screening of the day. So, we see a lot of those videos that Cinemark and all these other theater chains put out of the employees like spraying down the seats. And I read an article recently that's called sort of hygiene theater, and I expected as much, where we know that, the virus is not spread as much through touching things. You touching the seats and whatever, it doesn't linger on surfaces. It's much more active in the air, and then once it hits a surface, it dies a lot quicker. And so spraying the seats down is not really going to do a whole lot. So if you go in the first screening of the day, hopefully whoever was there last, the particles in the air, it's been at least 12 hours since anyone has been in the theater, and hopefully that's enough for anything in the air or on the surfaces to die. And then the other thing is that I'm sitting in the very back row of the theater. So I don't know if you know this, but most people in the theater sit forward. Everyone's facing one way. And so if everyone's facing one way, even if they are wearing masks and face masks, which theaters, most of their money is made from concessions, and so they're encouraging people to take their masks off and eat the food. Which I understand theaters have to make money, but that's a loophole in the safety measures. So by sitting in the very back row, I'm hopefully avoiding any spillage of people eating and laughing and projecting things out of their mouths and landing 2 rows ahead of them. So I'm sitting in the very back row. So that first screening of the day, low amount of tickets sold, sitting in the very back row. I have my KN95 mask. I have a face shield. I bought another surgical mask. I have hand sanitizer. And is this paranoid? Maybe. I think we all should be a little bit paranoid, if not a lot paranoid, during what's going on right now. And so I'm just trying to take every precaution I can to make myself feel safe and to tell others, with the amount of caution I'm taking, that they should feel safe too, with me being there. We'll see what the theater does. I'm definitely not eating anything while I'm there. I'm not taking my mask off. I'm not drinking anything. So I'm not, By the way, if you want to help theaters with the concessions, but you also want to keep people safe, I know it's overpriced, but go into the movie, watch your movie, come out, and then buy concessions. Buy a bag of popcorn to eat on your way home. Buy some candy to watch a movie, at home and eat that way. So at least you're contributing to, the theaters being able to pay their employees and keep their screens open, but you're not actively endangering people by taking off your mask and eating food. So that's a tip. So I'm doing everything I can to see this movie, and hopefully this experience will be good enough where I will feel comfortable to go again. We'll see. Again, this was about a 2-week research period of the movie coming out. Me reading articles and reviews of the theater, of people's theater going experiences, and trying to maintain all the safety guidelines and reading up on those and figuring out when the busiest times were and when and how not to go to those times. And then hopefully I get to see a really great movie by really one of the best filmmakers out there today. And it'll be an enjoyable, hopefully comfortable experience. Look, if I do get this thing, I'm coming straight home from the theater, and I will quarantine for 2 weeks if I feel any symptoms, obviously. But it's been 6 months, and I've been pretty careful with this, and hopefully this is my first sort of dipping my toe in the water of something other than socially distancing in the backyard, going to the grocery store, and going on walks. So we'll see. We have to maintain our mental health. We have to do things we love to do. We can't just cage ourselves in, but we have to be safe. We have to take precautions. We have to do the research and the due diligence, and this is the world that we live in now, for at least a little while. So thank you for indulging in this, whatever this is, and I will keep you posted.
So possessed by jealousy. That you might kill.
Any reason, make sure your mask is on. Welcome back to the movies at AMC.
Whew. All right, well, we are back in the car at the end of the movie. There were about 19 people total in the theater. The movie's bonkers, by the way. And I think that's sort of like, so now just reflecting on my time in there, like movies do what they're supposed to do. They sweep you up in the moment, and they make you forget about the current situation. You sort of, when you're in there, you just forget about the virus, which is the sort of unsettling part of it, because part of my brain is always thinking about the particles in the air and all that stuff. I probably sanitized my hands like 5 times throughout the movie. I wasn't even touching anything. So overall, just being in a movie theater was just an overwhelmingly great feeling. I can't say it was perfect. I can't say it didn't make me nervous, and I wasn't, having that part of myself think about the danger that I was in. But it's up to you. I mean, I can't tell you to go back to the theater if you're not comfortable with it. I don't know that I'm going to be going back anytime soon, just because of the hassle and the weeks of preparation it took just building up to it. It is probably just too stressful and not worth it. But I enjoyed my time in the movie. The movie is bananas. It just felt good to be in the theater again. I don't know. I was overwhelmed by it at one point, just being in a dark room with a group of people again. Now, it's not over. COVID-19 is nowhere near over, but I miss this feeling. And it does make you forget about it for a little bit. So, look, I will be back with a report in 2 weeks or a week or 2 days or whatever, how long the incubation period is for me to develop symptoms. And if I am all good, then we'll really know if I recommend the experience. See TENET, don't see TENET, go to the movies, don't go to the movies. It's all up to you. I can only tell you my own experience, which was good and bad, like I was expecting. I'm pretty level. I was level going into it, knowing both the good and the bad, and I'm the same way coming out of it. So, from what I saw, the theater did as good a job as they could with, the situation was. People keeping their distance, keeping their mask on. No one was, chewing or spitting or, chomping loudly or anything like that. So, make up your own mind, do your own research, stay safe, and enjoy movies if possible, at home or in the theater.